Quick story time on how my trip to Nicaragua started off beautifully, but didn't exactly end the way that I planned. So, backstory is extremely important. And this part of the story starts with my brother and I arriving to our last city of Ometepe. We arrive at the ferry port of Mayogalpa. Our Airbnb is about an hour away. So we have to rent out scooters or motorbikes, whatever you want to call it, which is what most people on the island do. Even the locals themselves riding around, but also people who are visiting the island. You rent out scooters. They have other options as well. So we rent out the scooters. I put my carry on luggage at the feet of where I'm riding. And at first, I'm a bit nervous because I'm like, I've never really rode a scooter before. Is this going to be an issue? It wasn't. We drive the full hour drive. You get used to riding the scooter within the first 2, 3 minutes. It's extremely easy. Later on that night, we drive to this random lady's house about 5 minutes away to have dinner. We ride back to the Airbnb, and everything is good at this point. That is until the next morning. This is our first full day. This is our only full day. So we're planning to do a hike and some other activities as well. So we wake up early, and within the first 5 minutes, we're gonna go. We're going to have breakfast, and we're taking the same route that I took the night before. I'm going down a hill, and everything is great. I lightly brake, and before you know it, I just wipe the fuck out. I'm on the floor. I pop up so quick that I was able to stand up and see my brother still riding down the hill. That's how fast I popped up. And I'm tight. I'm like, fuck. Now I have to pay for this goddamn scooter. I'm not even so worried about like scratch on my hand, fucking deep ass wound. This on my elbow. My legs are scratched up. My chest is all right, but it's a little banged up. Um, I'm not so worried about that. I'm like, fuck, I have to pay for the scooter. And I'm mad I just fucking crashed. And I'm like, damn, why does my left foot hurt? I'm like, all right, whatever. Then we're about to go to where we had breakfast, where we're going to have breakfast. And I'm like, wait, why does my left foot hurt? And then I think my brother was like, oh, I think it landed on your left foot. I'm like, oh, that makes sense with the way that I fell. So I, what happens at this point? Oh, we have breakfast. Um, and after that, we're making our way to San Ramon waterfall to start our hike up to the waterfall. And I'm like, fuck, my foot is fucked up, but it's just pain there, and I don't really think anything of it. I'm like, is this broken? I'm like, nah, it can't be. 2 hour hike up. Um, I'm like limping kind of in a way. I'm trying not to put too much pressure on my foot. It was easier. It was easier going up compared to what downhill, and I'll explain that in a second. We get up to the top at the waterfall. We just spent 2 hours hiking, sweaty, exhausted, and you need something refreshing. So, just like everybody else does, we're taking a dive. I'm taking like a dip in the waterfall area, shooting content, taking photos. But before we get to that part, I take off my clothes, I take off my shoes, I take off my sock, and I see my entire left big toe black and blue. And I'm like, fuck. Yeah, this explains the pain. But I had the pain in the middle of my foot, not so much where the bruising was, which was like if those who know the proximal phalanx, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever. I enjoy the waterfall as much as possible, trying not to slip and fall again because I still feel the pain there. Then we're like, all right, we're gonna make our way back down. And for me, going down isn't hard for most of the hikes that I do. This one, however, was because of the injury and where I had it. Those who know, when you're going downhill, you're putting pressure on the front of your toes. All that pressure is being put on your foot in the front of your toes, right? Because it's steep going down. The first 20, 30 minutes, I'm damn near crawling on the floor. sliding down rocks, kind of. Um, I won't get into it, but it was extremely hard. We make our way back down in about 2.5 hours, or 2 hours it was. Go back to the Airbnb and said, all right, we're not doing any other activities today. Maybe tomorrow morning before we have to check out at 11. I wake up the next morning and my foot is a balloon. I can't fit the same shoes that I wore yesterday, my Hokas. I can't put on my water shoes, which are, I think it's more space in them. I may be wrong about that. Nah, it would it be more space, but thinner material, couldn't fit in those as well. I couldn't. I could put my sock on. So from that point, which was at around 10 o'clock in the morning, to 10 o'clock in the morning starts our travel day back. So that's 10 o'clock on a Thursday, on a Wednesday. I didn't arrive home until 6, 7 o'clock the next day. So that is, do the time. It's a long travel day. Okay, well more than 24 hours. Is it 36 hours? If I fuck up, just leave it in the comments. Um, so uh, I get back home. I'll just say that that entire travel day was extremely hard because of a lot of hopping. I found some crutches, thank God, but even that was a pain in the ass with a 15-pound uh, backpack, camera bag on my back. I get back home. I immediately go to urgent care and got an X-ray. And I found out that I not only broke not one of my toes, not two, not three, not four, but all five of those motherfuckers. Every fucking toe I broke. And I couldn't believe that. I still can't. Like all five of my fucking toes are broken. Um so the story doesn't necessarily end there because I still have to wait for the x-ray I got last night. Went to a podiatrist today. He was like, yeah, your foot is fucked. You have to go get a CT scan, which I got like 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago. And I'm going to be waiting on the results to that to know what is the proper course of action or treatment that I have to take, whether I have to do surgery or any of that other bullshit, right? Um, yeah, so this is like the long version to the story. I could have just kept it at I broke my toes while I was in Nicaragua because I fell off a scooter. That was like 10 seconds of a story. But who the fuck wants to hear just 10 seconds when I could just leave it at a 10-minute video and waste your time? But, you know, after this, you can just walk away. Unlike some people who broke every fucking toe in their fucking foot. Can't believe that shit. I'm 5 for 5 though. If you look at it like in that type of perspective, I'm 5 for 5. If I'm gonna break some shit, I'm gonna break all of them. Not just one toe. Fuck that. I'm gonna break all five of them. Like I said on IG, I stayed at Bigfoot and I left with a Bigfoot. You won't believe how swollen my foot still is. I gotta go ice this shit immediately. Um, Now, a full review of Nicaragua has to be made because that was one of the best trips I've ever been on. Like that was like the epitome of the travel experiences I'm trying to have. Besides this, I'm not trying to have this. I don't strive for this, but everything else was just like beautiful. The people I met, the country itself is beautiful. Short amount of time stayed there, but beautiful trip.